Zwilling is one of the most respected knife makers out there for Western style knives. I've been using their twin Pollux Chef knife for about a month now, and I picked it up for the equivalent of around $50. I put it through some pretty tough testing to check its rust resistance, and I've compared it with multiple knives at the same kind of price range. In this video, I'm going to give you my verdict. Zwilling JA Henckels is one of the largest and oldest knife manufacturers in the world, dating back to 1731. They're a German brand that make a huge range of knives, usually produced in the classic German or French style. The handle is a triple riveted thermoplastic. It basically makes the connection between the handle and the blade really strong, and it's seen in most high quality Western chef's knives. The overall profile of the knife is quite different from the classic Western style chef's knife profile. The blade edge is a lot more flat with just a gentle curve towards the end, and there's only a tiny heel on the knife, which is the part that provides the clearance between the handle and the cutting board. I think this makes the knife much more suited to people who do the straight downward type of cutting rather than rock chopping, for which a well curved edge with a large heel is essential. Personally, I do like to pinch grip the knife, and I do use the rock chopping technique, so this knife isn't all that comfortable for me, but I know a lot of people do prefer holding just the handle and doing the straight down cut, in which case this knife would be ideal. Looking at the weight and balance of the knife, I really don't find this knife to be very well balanced at all. And given that the blade isn't actually very wide, it's still surprisingly heavy because of its thickness. That means that the knife on the whole is really forward heavy. A well balanced knife will stay level when held at the point where the blade meets the handle, whereas the Zwilling is extremely forward heavy. There is a benefit of a thick blade though, because it'll help with stability when cutting through really large vegetables or meats that require a little bit more force to get through. I also weighed this knife against 3 other 8-inch knives. It was lighter than the 2 forged knives, which is to be expected given that this is a stamped knife, but I'd say it was still on the heavy side itself for a stamped knife. And the other stamped knife that I weighed, the Victorinox, came out at 20% less weight than the Zwilling. Now that's not necessarily a problem. Personally, I do like a little bit of weight to my knife, but for me this knife is just not nearly well balanced enough. As I've mentioned, this is a stamped knife, meaning that the blade has essentially been stamped out of a piece of sheet metal, like a giant cookie cutter, rather than being forged. That's pretty common at this price range, so it's not something I would be too concerned about. The steel itself is specified as a special formula steel by Zwilling, so unfortunately we don't know the exact composition of the steel that's been used, and Zwilling only give us a pretty vague hardness rating of between 55 and 58 HRC. Now 56 HRC is a pretty standard level for Western style chef's knives, so that's likely to be fine and have a good balance between sharpness and edge retention against durability. But to test the rust resistance of this unknown steel, I wanted to do something that you should really never do with your kitchen knives. I soaked it in water for 2 hours, and then to create a moist environment, I wrapped it up in a wet towel for a further 24 hours. I did this immediately after using it, as in theory, the protective layer created by the chromium, which is the element that makes the stainless steel stainless and resistant to rust, should be at its weakest directly after use. This wasn't just a test for the rust resistance, but also to see if the handle material would warp or distort from the moisture. Now steel with a decent level of chromium should be able to survive this test without developing any rust spots over the 24 hours. So I thought it'd be a really good test to see if it really is the high quality stainless steel that Zwilling claim it is. And to their credit, 24 hours later, and there were no signs of rust on the knife blade whatsoever. And I've been continuing to use it since without any problems, so it does look like the chromium level in the steel is reasonable enough to consider this a pretty high quality stainless steel, even if Zwilling won't disclose the exact composition of the steel to us. Now, Zwilling are definitely a great knife manufacturer, and there are a lot of good points about this knife, but I don't think it's the best knife at this price range. Before you make any decisions on buying a knife, you need to check out my comparison video of the best knives for $50 right here. There are some ridiculously good bargains out there, and in that video I'm going to show you a selection of great knives at this price range, and I'm going to show you my personal favourite, which I think is easily the same type of quality as knives double or triple its price.